Hello guys, my name is Louis, and in this video I'm very excited to announce the first episode of our new series. I'm still working on the name, I don't know what the name should be, but if you have a suggestion, leave it down in the comments. This is the series where we're going to take one dish from every country, go through the history of it and how to make it. For this episode, we're going to do the United States of America, and the dish we're making is a burger. So now I'm going to show you the history and how to make it in 3 different ways. So for the history of the hamburger, let's go back to early 19th century Hamburg, Germany. A lot of people think that the hamburger was actually created in Hamburg, Germany, which is not true, although the inspiration most definitely did come from there. The inspiration of the hamburger came from the Hamburg steak, which is ground or minced beef shaped in the form of a steak then cooked. The concept of the Hamburg steak first got to the United States in 1890 when Germans traveled to New York and started selling it there. In the year 1900, the first real hamburger was created by Louis Lassen, when the Hamburg steak started getting popular and sold at fairs where it needed to be portable and handheld like a hot dog and not only being able to eat it on a plate. So, for the first burger we're making today, it's a so-called deep-fried burger in a way. So before the days of flat-top cooktops that have drains to catch the oil, when the burgers would render some fat off, they would be cooking in a cast iron skillet like this one. And eventually, after cooking so many burgers, all of the rendered fat, so beef tallow, would fill up the pan like this. And eventually they'd be basically deep frying the burgers. And when this was happening, they noticed that their customers actually liked the flavor of their deep fried burgers, so they kept it. Now, in order to make burger making way less stressful and a lot more enjoyable and easier, you always want to start out with a mise en place. And what that is just having all of your ingredients out before you actually start the cooking. So I've already browned my onions, not caramelization, because that takes too long in my opinion. So you just throw down some oil and saute them until they're nice and brown. And I have brioche buns. Normally you'd use American cheese, but I'm personally not fond of American cheese because I'm not sure what's in it, right? So this is mild cheddar, but ideally if you don't like American cheese, you would use provolone. And then I have my special sauce, which is just mayo, ketchup, sriracha, and some minced pickles. If you really want to see how you can make that, you can look at my mayonnaise video. That'll be in the top right of your screen, and I'll leave it in the description below. So now that you have everything out, you just want to smash your burgers extremely thin. And by the way, I'm using 2.5 to 3 ounce balls of ground beef. And now that your burgers are smashed super thin, you just want to season them with salt and pepper. If you're wondering what I have in here, it's beef tallow. So I have some of the rendered beef fat from my rib roast video, and if you want to look at that, it'll be in the top right corner of your screen, and I'll leave the link in the description below. So once your beef tallow has reached 375 and it is very warm, and you have your burger smashed down, you want to get your brioche buns in the toaster. Now that your buns are toasting, and you don't have to use brioche buns, you can use potato buns, onion buns, and actually back then, the buns that they were using were resembling more of a dinner roll actually, but I'm not going to do that. So now, I'm just going to drop my burger in the oil. And now we're going to do a crazy idea, but it surprisingly works. We're going to try and melt this cheese. So you just want to put one of your bottom buns, and these cook really fast, so they've been in there for about 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes. And now you want to put on your slice of cheese and give that a base. Okay, now that your slice of cheese is melted, look at that, that's just insane. you want to put on your other bun. And just like that, your burger is done. So now you want to put some sauce on both sides of your bun. Some brown onions. I like to put them on the bottom so that the patties have a base to sit on. And you can add whatever toppings you like, but back then, browned onions were mainly the only topping that they had put on. Now put on your burger patty. And boom, that's like a 1.5-minute burger. For our second burger, we're making the Oklahoma onion burger. This originated in the 1920s, 1930s, when people didn't have a lot of money, so instead of using ground beef to fill their burger, which was expensive, they used onions. That does not mean that there was no ground beef at all in the burger, it just means that there was less of it. So, for example, in the last burger, we used 2.5 ounce to 3 ounce balls of ground beef. We're just using 2.5 ounce ball of ground beef, and then an onion to kind of act as a second patty for the burger. For our first step in this onion burger, you're going to want to slice your onion very thinly. So to do that, I'm gonna use a mandolin on its thinnest setting, but if you're really good with knives and can get like paper thin slices, you can do that too. So make sure you're being careful, but just slice away. Okay, now that your onion is cut, and oh my god, on a mandolin, that makes you cry so hard. So let me show you exactly how thin I'm talking. You see how you're able to see through that? Here, let me show you. Yeah, it's translucent, you see? You see how thin that is? That's how thin you want it to be. Because the thinner it is, the easier you'll bite through it, and the more tender the entire burger will be. Okay, to get started with cooking, you want your 12-inch cast iron pan on medium-high heat, and instead of putting oil on the pan, well, we are going to do that, but in a different way. You actually want to rub the pan down with oil. You notice that my pan is shiny, but that's because I already did it without filming on accident, but it's okay, 2 coats won't hurt anybody. So you just want to fold a paper towel, and you want to make sure you're doing this before it gets too hot, because, well, then you're going to burn yourself while doing this. But so you just want to rub your cast iron down using high smoke point oil, like grapeseed, peanut could work. Just make sure you're not using anything like olive oil. Canola oil would work great for this as well. So right now we're almost kind of putting like a mini seasoning coat on our cast iron, and that'll make sure that it's nice and non-stick without having to drown it in oil. And the reason we do this instead of just putting oil down and then frying the burger in it is, so if we smash the burger down, instead of it staying flat and nice and thin, it'll buckle up and create a smaller patty that's thicker. And that's not what you want in a smash burger. Okay, and once your pan starts lightly smoking, you want to drop your 2.5 ounce ball of ground beef in the pan and smash. And then instantly season with some salt and pepper. And then once you have the salt and pepper on there, here's the cool part. You just throw a handful of onions right on top of the burger. Now, after about 1.5 minutes, and that's the cool thing about smash burgers, they take barely any time to cook because they're so thin. You want to just scrape all of the brown crispy bits off the bottom of your pan. And then flip. And look at that super nice golden crust on the burger we got there. And it stayed the same size since I smashed it because there isn't any oil. So when I was recipe testing this, when I put a lot of oil in the pan, it'd always buckle up and become like a normal patty almost. And what's so cool about this method is because you're not cooking it like as you normally would with an onion. You get some pieces of onions that are charred, some that are perfectly cooked, and then you have some raw ones. So it's a nice mixture of onions, and that's what's so cool about this burger. Okay, after 45 seconds on the onion side of the burger, you just want to put your special sauce on both sides of the bun. And then you want to take off your onion burger patty and just lay that down on the bottom bun. And then boom, that is an awesome burger in just, not including prep, maybe 2.5 minutes. And if you're wondering where's the cheese, cheese was expensive back then, so they didn't put it on these burgers because people didn't have a lot of money. Now, for our third and final burger, we're going to make out a more modern version of a burger that we all know today. So what you're gonna need for this is 3 2-ounce balls of ground beef, some American cheese, yes, American cheese, I said it. I'm not very fond of it, but for burgers it really is the best thing to do. And then some shredded lettuce, I just shredded some romaine lettuce. And then brioche bun or whatever bun you want to use, 1 slice of bacon if you want to, and then like a ring of onion that you just cut up by yourself, and special sauce, again, link will be in the description. Now for the first step in our modern style burger, you again want to start with a mise en place with all of your ingredients to make everything less stressful, and we're gonna do now the same thing that we did in our previous burger, the onion burger. So we're just gonna set it over medium heat and rub your cast iron down with oil instead of just putting oil and frying the burgers in it. And if you wanna know why I do this, you can go back to the last burger. Okay, once your cast iron is rubbed down with oil and nice and hot and very lightly smoking, you wanna turn on a smaller pan onto heat and then put some olive oil down. What we're gonna do in this pan is get this onion ring nice and golden. So once your cast iron pan is hot, just lay down your 3 balls of ground beef. They're 2 ounces, by the way. And then smash them down. And then immediately you want to season them with salt and pepper. And now you want to lay down your onion in your other pan. Okay, after about 1.5 minutes, you want to just flip all your burgers and make sure you scrape it first. And then you want to lay down cheese on 2 of your burger patties. And after about 30-45 seconds, you want to construct your meat and cheese tower. Okay, now it's time for assembly. All of your heat is off, and you just want to put your special sauce on both sides of the bun. And yes, I forgot to do the bacon, I realized that, okay? Okay, now that your sauce is laid down, you want to add on some shredded lettuce on your bottom bun. And then your griddled onion. And I'm just gonna try and reshape this a bit because it fell apart during cooking. And then once that's all laid down, you want to add on your meat and cheese tower. And finally top with your top bun. Now that is an awesome modern style burger. Now I am super excited to slice into this burger. Now let's get a look at that cross section. Oh my god. You have the lettuce and onion on the bottom and the gooey cheese in between all 3 patties. That is what I call